It's Noirvember in Noir Alley, and I'm your host, Eddie Muller. Today's film is special for me because it's set in my hometown in the year I was born. From Columbia Pictures in 1958, it's The Lineup, starring Eli Wallach, Robert Keith, and San Francisco. The movie was a big screen version of the popular TV series of the same name, which ran on CBS from 1954 to 1960. When the show was later sold for syndication, it was retitled San Francisco Beat. The series was a knockoff of Los Angeles-based Dragnet, boasting that episodes were drawn from the files of the SFPD. Just like Dragnet, The Lineup focused on the casework of a pair of police inspectors, played by Warner Anderson and Tom Tully. The show's producer, Jaime DeValle, convinced Columbia to finance a big screen version, and he had the good sense to hire Don Siegel to direct. Siegel was an industry veteran who'd had many distinct chapters in his long career. After graduating from Cambridge University in England, Siegel entered the business in the late 1930s with absolutely no filmmaking experience. Before long, he carved out a niche for himself as head of the montage department at Warner Brothers, producing short, multi-shot sequences that showed the passage of time, stuff directors typically left to underlings. Siegel cut his teeth editing montages in films by Howard Hawks, Michael Curtiz, and Raoul Walsh. At Warner's, he created two short subjects, Stars in the Night and Hitler Lives, both of which won Oscars as Best Short Subject, the only brushes with Oscar Siegel ever had. By the early 50s, he'd absorbed enough experience to leave the studio and begin directing B pictures, first at RKO, then as a freelancer for producers who recognized his genius for crafting smart, high-impact pictures on bare-bones budgets. Terrific films with trashy titles like Riot in Cell Block 11, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Babyface Nelson. To turn The Lineup into a feature film, the producer chose a hot young writer named Sterling Siliphant. Siliphant had been a publicist for Walt Disney and 20th Century Fox before deciding to write and produce movies. Walt Disney gave him his break, hiring Siliphant to create the earliest episodes of the Mickey Mouse Club. At the same time, he was writing crime films like Five Against the House and Nightfall. Well, both Siliphant and Siegel wanted to change The Lineup from a police procedural to a crime thriller focused on the bad guys, a pair of sociopathic hitmen tracking down a lost stash of smuggled heroin. They didn't even want the film to be called The Lineup, since they planned on downplaying the familiar cops in favor of the unique crooks. In fact, Tom Tully, whom TV viewers knew as Inspector Matt Greb, wasn't even in the movie. He was replaced by perennial tough guy Emil Meyer. The first 30 minutes of The Lineup plays like the TV show, formulaic cops and robbers stuff. But Siliphant and Siegel start showing off their stuff once the story sticks with the villains. Coincidentally, Siliphant's previous script, Nightfall, also featured a pair of eccentric and psychotic hitmen, one of them played by a Keith, Brian Keith, the son of Robert Keith, who plays Julian in today's film. Julian's protege, Dancer, is played by Broadway actor Eli Wallach in only his second movie role. He'd just come off a highly praised film debut in Elia Kazan's Baby Doll, and according to Don Siegel, Wallach felt that this film was a come-down for an actor of his stature. But once Wallach was on location, feeling the excitement of Siegel's dynamic direction, the actor gave everything he had to the role, making it one of the most memorable in his long and diverse career. Another ace Siegel had up his sleeve was cameraman Hal Moore, who, being a native San Franciscan, was well suited to capturing what amounts to an adrenaline-fueled travelogue of the city. Also starring Hollywood High School graduate Richard Jekyll, wheelman for the greatest car chase in movie history, up to this point. Here is a movie touted as too hot, too big for TV. Here is The Lineup.